Yes! Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, once again, your Travel God of Extreme, Peter Joseph here, for video number 2. Once again, right here on the Peter Joseph YouTube Wrestling channel, youtube.com/Peter Joseph. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like the video, and subscribe right now. Now! Do it now! Not then, but now. I said so. That's that. Alright, gonna do a little bit of an abbreviated intro, because I got a few things, lot to talk about in this little video, and trying to get to my baseball review, which is gonna take me a while, but we'll see what happens with that. So I hope you had a great Wednesday. We got Dynamite coming up at the top of the hour. Should be a great show tonight. Swerve and Kenny back at Omega Bang. Round 2 Electric Boogaloo. Swerve's number 1 contender for the world title on the line, and Kenny's EVP status on the line. So something's got to give, and we'll see what happens with that. And a whole lot more tonight on your 2+ hour cure for insomnia. That's AEW Dynamite. And we'll see what happens with that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But right now, everything I'm saying right now is happening now. What happened then? I don't know. You missed it. But anyway, right now, check out my NXT review. Go back a video or look in the description box. That's that. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your really late and really out of date, let's go back a week, AEW Dynamite and Slam Dunk Collision Night 1 and 2 reviews for March 18th, the 21st, and 22nd. So, we got all that. A lot to talk about. So, buckle up, grab your popcorn, and enjoy. And if not, get out of here, bitch. But if you like it, great. Sit back, relax, you grab that TC Cone one, and enjoy the show. But, you know, because I know people are like, oh, you're going to do it again. Go smoke a bowl and go home. Go away. Go fuck yourself. You're still watching anyway. Bitch. Moving on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. AEW Dynamite from last week. Pretty good show. 700 and, almost 750,000 views last week. Wow. For a show that was kinda, sorta, But anyway, it's the aftermath of Revolution. And we got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Alright, so we are emanating from the Save Mart Center, and all shows on this review, Dynamite, Collision Night 1 and 2, from the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California, still in Bucks Country. And, as always, on Dynamite, our commentary team of the man behind the mask, Excalibur, my good buddy Tony Baloney Schiavone, or Schiavone for you Jericho-holics out there, and Brian Fragelson, Danielson, commentators and lies to his teeth son. Yes! And we got that. Alright, so I'm going to do some abbreviated, not going to do everything in the match like I usually do, so save some time. Alright, so we start the show off with a Revolution recap of what happened. MJF somehow retaining the world title in a bloody as fuck, explosive, if you will, no pun intended, Texas Death Match, and a whole lot more going on. Decla retains her AEW Women's Championship. Widow Nightingale, well, they lost the women's tag team belts to Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. But she got the TBS title against Lena Cross on the pre-show. TNT title, Kyle Fletcher retained. And Moxley and Takeshita went to war. Moxley wins that. So, not much. I mean, great pay-per-view at Revolution. Best pay-per-view of the year so far for AEW. And AEW has been kicking some ass for the first 3 months of the year because WWE's been pretty much in a shitter. But we got that. Alright, so we start off with match number 1. Will Ocean's Way reach for the sky? Whoa! bam! He's back in action after his neck surgery. He's back in action against Blake Christian of the Swirl. So, pretty good match, under 7.5 minutes, and Will Ospreay, after after getting a 450 and a Giddy Kasa bang for near falls by Blake Christian, and Blake Christian thinks he's Will Ospreay, tries for the hidden blade, that gets cut off, and Ospreay hits his actual version of the hidden blade. 1, 2, 3, Ospreay gets the win in his return match back from surgery. Match was good, 3.25 out of 5 stars, and then afterwards he calls out John Moxley because Ospreay returned at Revolution and beat up Moxley and most of the Death Riders. So he calls out Mox, threatens to snap his neck with his bare hands. Mox comes out through the crowd, and Ospreay charges right into the crowd, get a big old brawl in the crowd, but then that bastard Pac comes in for the save. Ospreay then gets put in the brutalizer, more talk on that surgically repaired neck. That's not fun. So we got that. So it looks like Pac and Ospreay are going to start a feud. Should be good. Let's see what happens with that. Alright, then we get the Bang Bang Gang. And that's Austin Gunn, Ace Austin, and Juice Robinson. They take on the Death Riders, who stay at ringside. That's Claudio Castagnoli de Suisse, bald-headed William Yuta, and I think it was Danny Mox. I think it was Mox, right? Yeah, Moxley was still there, and Marina Shafir ringside. Pretty good match for 11 minutes. Kind of a cool down from the hot segment before that. We're getting in the end a Giddy Kasa by Mox. Takes down Juice Robinson, and then William Yuta dives onto him. Sets up the paradigm shift, or pretty much the Pale Rider. 1, 2, 3, the Death Riders get the win. And they continue their dominance in AEW for the last couple years. Is what it is, and that's pretty much it. Alright, then we get a video for Gabe Kidd, who's not scared of... Hi guys, it's me, Darby Allin. I'm gonna take so much time. Get the fuck out of here, Darby. Bastard. So, he's not afraid of Darby, and he's gonna meet him in the parking lot. Oh, the dreaded parking lot gets more action than anybody in... gets more action than William Yuta gets on a date. That's true. Alright, and Darby and Gabe got an unsanctioned coffin match coming up. We'll talk about that in a second. But before we get to that, Kenny got Omega! Bang! Wants to face Swerve one more time, and if Swerve is confident, he'll put his #1 contendership up. And then later on, Swerve counters Kenny's offer and says, well, I'll put up my contendership spot, but you gotta put up your EVP spot since I took care of the Bucks. They're gone as EVPs, and I'm gonna take care of you, so there'll be no EVPs left. Except for Tony Khan. Well, I guess Tony Khan can say. But, well, we got that. So let's see what happens. We move on. Alright. Then we get to the unsanctioned coffin match, but we start off in the parking lot. Darby tries to run him over. They brawl. Darby goes into the trunk and ethers Gabe Kidd, puts him in the trunk of the car. And then he flips the car over. That was crazy. Like live murder on live TV. Woohoo! Darby's crazy. And then Darby breaks out of the window of the car. He's all banged up. I'm like, surprisingly, this match is actually going to happen. Pops out of the trunk, and Gabe Kidd just pops out of the back of the trunk of the car. He's busted on the side of his head. And then we get an anvil case, and Darby just like wheels him into the arena, puts him in a straitjacket. We get into the match, and then Darby gets thrown into the ring steps. He's busted wide open. Eventually, Gabe Kidd is busted wide open. This match was, it's unsanctioned, but it was crazy. But in the end, They try to go for the casket. Darby bites Gabe Kidd's nose. I got your nose! Followed by a skateboard shot. And then back-to-back coffin drops. Set by suicide dive to knock Gabe Kidd into the casket. And the lid closed by itself. Darby just had to put his hand on it. And Darby wins another coffin match in 10 minutes. I believe he's 4-0 in coffin matches. 4 or 5. But he's never lost, I believe. So, that's that. And then after that, Darby gets on the mic saying he's coming for MJF and the world title. Who isn't going for MJF's world title? Swerve? Kenny? Darby now? I mean, MJF has a big, huge target on his back right now. And we'll see what happens with that. And Ocean Spray, too. He's coming after that world title, too. And move on. Alright, then we get a video on Jungle Jack Perry leaving his house in the new Jurassic Express bus, riding to the show driven by one-armed Luchasaurus. Though before he leaves, he feeds a squirrel. Why not? And then he arrives to the arena, runs into the Young Bucks. Matt and Nick Jackson, they got a 6-man tag team match. Against FTR, and, it was FTR and Ciampa? I forget. We'll get to that. It was FTR and, somebody. But we move on with that. Alright. That's that. Alright, Prince Nana, my good buddy Prince Nana, buy his coffee, please, on PrinceNanaCoffee.com, or just look up Prince Nana Coffee on Google. Buy yourself some, because Rosa loves it. I mean, she does. She loves it. I had a cup or two of it. It's not bad. Alright, so Swerve, Nana comes out, introduces Swerve. Swerve talks about power, which he didn't get even after winning at Revolution against Brody King. And he spent most of his life fighting against people with power. So he challenges Kenny. He challenges Kenny to put up his EVP title, and Swerve will put up his spot if he wins, blah, blah, blah. So we get that. Alright, after that, we get to Speedball. Mike Bailey talking about the work he's put in. He's had to do to put in to get where he is today. He's willing to keep doing it. Then he gets into a pretty good match with Mark Davis. And they went at it for under 11 minutes. But in the end, Davis with a running clothesline. Mike Bailey kicks him into a moonsault with knees. Then he finally hits the ultimate weapon, 1, 2, 3. And that's it. Good match. 3.5 out of 5 stars for that. And moving on. And some of the other segments I gave 2.5 out of 5 stars. Moving on. Alright, after Revolution, we see MJF. He's all bloodied up. Dubs himself Mr. Revolution. Even though he felt every bit of pain from the Texas Death Match. It was all worth it. He won it on his 30th birthday. He has 20 years to go, and the Hangman Adam Page will be staying in the mid-card where he belongs. But with that out of the way, he's going to Disney World with Alicia Atik, his wife. Yeah, some honeymoon there, Max. I would have took her to Hawaii or Puerto Rico, the Shining Star, like Caribbean. Or go to Italy, go somewhere. Go somewhere exotic. Why not? You got the money. We got that. 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. And then, Kata, the Intercontinental Champion, laughs off the idea of the Young Bucks being his family, because the Don Callis family is what matters. Well, not so much Takeshita or Takeshita. They're still going at it. They hate each other. Crazy. We get that. Alright, there was supposed to be Marina Shafir and Timeless Tony Storm, but earlier we found out that Tony got attacked by somebody in her locker room, blood all over the floor. Luther's like, I don't know what happened with it, because like, oh my god! And then Mina's in, she goes berserk, saying, I'm going to fight you, Marina, whoever did this, I'm going to kick your ass! Wasn't me, but, people saying it was Marina, it was Ronda Rousey. I think it's Britt Baker. We haven't seen Britt Baker in like a year. So how do you bring Britt Baker back into the company? beat up the woman who took her spot, which is Toni Storm. Simple. But I guess we'll maybe find out tonight, but we'll see. Alright, so Marina takes her, Mina Shirakawa takes her place. No holds barred match. Mina comes out with a barbed wire bat. I mean, they went berserk. And in the end, Mina has to break out of mother's milk. So Shafir grabs a table. They strike it out on the apron. That goes to Marina easily. Suplexes Mina almost to her death because she kind of missed the table and her head got like cracked on the mat outside. Ow! Tony Schiavone's like, I don't think she got all of it. You know. Back in, Mina grabs the champagne bottle. Boom! Right in the face of Marina Shafir, knocked her out. And then Marina, tomato. Let's have fun, you know. So she hits the bottle shot, followed by quick storm zero. 1, 2, 3. Finally, Mina gets a win on Dynamite. Oh, took her that long, but Mina gets the win, and she's gonna be facing who's she facing tonight? Dekla for the AEW Women's Title tonight. She gonna win? No, sadly. Every time she has a title shot, she doesn't win unless it's an interim title. Really, she should be TBS champ. Or she just should have stayed as the women's TV champ of Ring of Honor. But did not, because she lost that chick named Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, who has 3 belts now. 3. Not count, well, actually 2, if you want to count the Owen Hart belt. Not even a belt, it's just a thing. So really, she has 2 belts. But I think she's gonna retain her Owen Hart Cup. She's gonna repeat, go to All In and beat probably Dekla or where was the champ by then. So we're gonna get another probably another reign of terror from Mercedes Moné. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah, so Mina gets the win. That's good. Alright, Andrade wants the world title. So he's another one who was on the list of people who want the world title. But he gets a briefcase full of money from Maxwell Jacob Fartknocker. And then Don Callis calls in and says, that, FaceTimes in and says that the deal is to get rid of Darby. And Andrade's not really convinced about that. Yeah, I wouldn't face Darby either. And Andrade and Darby have fought before, way back when Andrade first came to AEW. Remember when? That's where we got, why are you so crazy? Take it easy. Take it easy. That's where we got that from. His little feud with Darby and Jose, the assistant, was there back then. He's not there now anymore, as we all know. Whatever happened to him, I don't know. Alright, so we got that. Alright, speaking of the Don Callis family, FTR and Okada take on the Young Bucks and Jack Perry. Was this the main event? Yes, this was the main event. Great match for 12 minutes. Back and forth they went. Don Callis family load up stereo tombstone pile drivers, but get bitten in the dick. Bit them in the dick. Yeah, bit them in the dicks. Tiny small packages. Speaking of small packages, we got a triple small package for a triple near fall. That was fun. And then the Bucks hit the BTE trigger on. It was Okada and not FTR. So it was Okada and Rocky Romero, and Trent, Roppongi Vice. So we got that little chaos reunion. So Bucks hit the BTE trigger on Rocky Romero, and then Jack Perry hits the Busaiku knee, running knee, a la Bryan Danielson. 1, 2, 3, and as always, Rocky Romero takes the pin. He sucks. And that's pretty much it. So 12-minute match, 3.5 out of 5 stars. After the match, the Bucks get on the mic, say we blew it at Revolution, had to admit that FTR is a better team. And Papa Buck told them to remember who they are, work their way back to the top. And then we get, on this day, I see clearly, Edge or Threshold Adam Copeland and Christian come out. Edge and Christian come out. Edge says they shouldn't hang their heads after a great match they had at Revolution. And he knows what it's like to hate FTR. Well, fuck the Revival, basically. Which is why him and Christian are challenging FTR at Dynasty for the tag team titles, April the 12th. That's 2 weeks away. And Christian says if we win, we get a whole bunch of money. They prove that we're the best tag team ever. And then FTR and Stokely Hathaway come out. And FTR comes straight to the ring, gets beaten down by Edge and Christian. And I think the Bucks did it a little bit. And then the Bucks just hold up the tag titles and they have a little tug of war. But then they hand them back to Edge and Christian. And then all of them pose to end the show. I was hoping we get a triple threat match. We still might get it. But I think Edge and Christian are probably going to win the titles at Dynasty. And then maybe lose them before All In. And then Edge is going to be gone by Wrestle Dream in October. That's going to be in Toronto. That's his hometown, him and Christian's hometown. And I would love to have Edge Christian 3, or I think it's up to 3, 4 maybe, who knows. But I think that's the right thing to do. Edge and Christian one final time in a cage. I don't care what it is, straight up one-on-one match. I'd have Edge win, have a nice send-off with him and Beth Phoenix. And that's pretty much it. Alright, moving on. Alright, so Dynamite was pretty decent. 7.25 out of 10 stars. Now, it's the night 1 of Slam Dunk Collision from the Save Mart Arena. And this time, as always, our Collision team of Tony Baloney Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness, me love. Alright, we had that. This was taped, but it was broadcast on late because of the NCAA tournament. I think we're getting it this week too. I think I gotta check your local listings for this week's Collision. We got that. All right, night 1 was pretty damn good. TNT title opens up the night 1. Kyle Fletcher against Robbie Eagles. Great match, great. In the end, Kyle Fletcher wins after the non-dart into the corner. Then a bling buster. He got the win in Make-A-Wish 12-12. Great match. Kyle Fletcher still your reigning defending TNT champion. Great match. And Robbie Eagles, man, from New Japan. You gotta love that. Let me move on. Alright, then Jon Moxley warns Ocean Spray, for wanting to break his neck. Oh, you don't want to do that. And then the bastard Pac wasn't even with them when Ocean Spray got hurt, but is more than willing to put Ocean Spray back on the shelf and willing to fight him. So I think we got that match tonight on the program. Would be nice at Dynasty. Well, we'll see what happens with that. All right, we move on with that. Then we get to a 6-man tag team match. The Facción de Ignobles, that's Jalistico, Bruce, and the Beast Mortas, who is one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. They take on 3 Hammonagers named Dom Kubrick, Lucas Riley, and Alpha Zoe. Not Yo, Zoe. This was a 2-minute garbage fest. Rush hits the bull's horns. You mess with the bull, ese! You get the horns! That's what happened. He hits the bull's horns, sets up the Beast Mortis' corkscrew moonsault on, I think it was, I don't know who it was, but I don't give a shit. Rush gets the pin, 2 minutes, garbage match. Boring! And that's what you call a filler match. We get that. Alright, then the AEW Women's Champion, the Spider Lady, Decla, lands off the idea of Toni Storm being hurt, said she had everything to do with it. So Tony saw what Decla was doing, Stacey attacked to avoid having to fight her. Everyone else was coming after her should stage their own death because the real thing is much worse. Shit. She's been doing great in her promos as of late. Great. Love it. Alright, move on. Alright, more women's action. We got the Brawling Birds of Jamie Hayter and Alex Wenza! They take on the Sisters of Sin, my girl Julia Hart and the beautiful Sky Blue. A pretty good match for under 9.5 minutes. Getting to the end. Julia Hart. Flippy dippity doo on Jamie Hayter on the floor. Sky Blue's running knee gets a near fall on Alex Windsor on the inside. And then she powerbombs Alex Windsor at the corner. Goes to the cover. Jamie Hayter made the save. They get back up. And sadly, Julia Hart, she got hit with 2 birds, 1 stone. I guess it was a double team finisher. 1, 2, 3. The Brawling Birds get the win. We'll see what happens with them as they're on a looking to go for the women's tag team titles that Megan Bayne and Lena Cross have. And we'll see what happens with that. Moving on. Alright, the big man, Booty Hoot King, thanks Kenny by God Omega for the save at Revolution, but he's ready for more of Swerve. But for now, he wants gold. Who doesn't want gold lately in the EW? So we got that. Alright, then we get a video of the Texas Death Match between the Hangman, Adam Page, and MJF at Revolution. We all know who won that. MJF retained, and now the Hangman can never wrestle for the world title ever again. So now he's probably going to go to the mid-card, maybe get the TNT title, maybe the Intercontinental title, or the Continental Breakfast of Champions title. And maybe the tag titles. Maybe go for the 6-man tag team titles. I don't know. We'll see. With that. Alright, 6-man tag team action. Commander, actually, not 6-man tag team match. Commander and Mascara Dorada S.A. They take on the Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli de Suisse and the Dancing Fool Danny Garcia. Winnie Shafir at ringside, as always. Dorada gets a slingshot dive, flippy dippity doo to the floor, gets cut off, he gets dropped on the announcer's table. Ow. But pretty good match for under 13 minutes. We get to the end. Commander's springboardy Hurricane Rana. That boy is bouncy. Not like Javon Evans, but he's bouncy. And he paused so Mascara Dorada can dive on a Danny Garcia. That was nice. That gets a near fall on Claudio, who comes right back with a swing of doom. Then he hits the neutralizer. 1, 2, 3 to finish off Commander. And that was the main event. So not much on Collision because it was like an hour, I think. But under 13 minutes, good match, and that's it. So night 1 was alright, 6.25 out of 10 stars. And that's that, 4 matches, a couple segments, in about an hour or so. Wasn't that bad. Alright, now, let's get to Slam Dunk Night 2. And also from the Save Mart Arena, same commentary, Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness, we love. Alright, so night 2 on Sunday night. So we open up with the conglomeration that Gimmick Stealer, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong, they take on Lee Johnson, and Black Machismo, ooh, yeah, did it! Jay Lethal of the Lethal Swirl, Lethal Twist, whatever you want to call it. Pretty good match for under 11 minutes. Getting to the end, Jay Lethal goes up top, hits the Macho Man elbow raining down from heaven. Hail to the king. Ooh, yeah. Did it. Did it right, Miss Elizabeth? That's right, Randy. Hi, Mr. Joseph. Hi, Liz. How you doing? You look great, as always. Oh, thank you. Stop looking at her! Shut up, Randy. Bastard. I can look at her however I want. What are you gonna do? You're dead. Nah. Keep it up, I'll get Mike after you. What's going on now? Oh, Randy Savage is bothering me, Mike. Hey, Macho Man, stop playing around with my friend. I'll kick your ass, put you through a flaming table. Some awesome. Okay, Mike, calm down. Liz got him. Don't worry. Yeah, she's a nice... You watch it. Watch it. You got your own problems up there with Bertha Faye and, all the other fat chicks and, Mae Young giving out gubby blowjobs up there. Oh, I gotta keep away from her. Yeah, I know. You wanna say goodbye? Mike, say goodbye. Bye! Okay. Good. Get out of here. Well, we get that. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, so, Hail to the King connects. Roddy has to make the save. Slumdog Millionaire hits Jay Lethal. Orange Punch. Drops Blake Christian off the apron. And then Roddy hits the end of Heartache on Lee Johnson. And Orange Cassidy gets the pin. I guess he was because Roddy couldn't get the pin because he wasn't a legal man. So decent match. 3 out of 5 stars. After the match, Roddy announces that he's officially part of the conglomeration now. Finally. But what happened to Kyle O'Reilly Auto Parts? What happened to him? So anyway, and then the Bullet Club, to sweep me for the love of God. The War Dogs, David Finlay, Clark Connors, and Gabriel Kidd, they pop up. They challenge him to a 6-man tag team. No, it was a tag team match or a 6-man tag team match on Dynamite tonight. So we'll get that. Moving on. Alright, then we're going to look at Lena Cross and the Megasis. Megan Bayne winning the women's tag team titles at Revolution from the Babes of Wrath, who won a rematch, obviously, because they get a contracted match. Look at that. But, in any case, so we get that. Then, Megan Bayne and Lena Cross fight Alex Gracia, I know you, you lovely lady, and Vipress. Non-title match. Match was total domination. Megan Bayne and Lena Cross win in under 2 minutes with a double choke slam. That's it. Bing, bang, boom, good night. Nice to see you, Alex Gracia. That was it. Let me move on. Alright, then we get to the weirdest match of the night. Tommaso Ciampa, the Psycho Killer! He takes on Dark Golem from Lord of the Rings, otherwise known as Leo Rush, with a new gimmick. And he has these white eyes. He's like, precious. I'm like, what the fuck happened to Leo Rush? Holy shit. And he got a lot of views for that. I mean, they showed it on AEW's YouTube page, got a lot of views. Shorts got a lot of views. I'm like, holy crap. You know, Leo Rush got more views than any match he's ever had. Holy crap. But Ciampa's like, what the fuck is going on? Because, like, Ciampa's like running around, and we saw him in the Blackjack Battle Royal. Casino, whatever it was. The Blackjack Battle Royal. And he's like going crazy. He's, you know, running around like a freaking dog. He's like jumping around and everything. I'm like, what the fuck? He got possessed. I said on Twitter, he was like, he reminded me of one of Gozer the Gazarian's dogs. He's freaking going nuts. Ray, when somebody asks you if you're a god, you say, yes! I couldn't help it. Well, fuck you, Ray. I thought Gozer was a man. Gozer can be anything he wants to be. Like, Gozer could have been a freaking stick, and it would have kicked the Ghostbusters' ass. I'd like to see Gozer versus Sephiroth. That would be fun. Or Kefka, you know? Kefka would have fucked Gozer up. Kefka and Sephiroth combined would have fucked Gozer up. I'm just saying. If you play Final Fantasy VII, the remake and the OG, you know, with Sephiroth, and Kefka, Final Fantasy VI near the end, well, actually the end, I hope they remake 6. They should. It's a great game. Not the best game in the series, which is always 7, but they gotta remake 6. I think they should remake 9 with extra stuff. And while you're at it, remake X2. Maybe remake 10, but I don't know if you want to remake 10, but because it was a good game. 13 should be redone, the whole series. 13, 1, 2, and 3. And if you want, Lightning Returns too. And then maybe you do something with that game where you play as Vincent. What was the name? Crisis Core. Yeah, 1 and 2. Good games, but you know, remastered. Not even remastered, redone. Like like Final Fantasy VII remastered. You know, Rebirth, whatever it is. We make the entire fucking collection of Final Fantasy games until 17 comes out. No, 16. No, 17. I was right the first time, I think. 16 is great. 15, not so much. 16 is a classic with the DLC. Classic. Love that. It's in my top 5 of best Final Fantasy games. It's always 7, 9, 16, which is number 3. Gotta go with the original Final Fantasy 1. Final Fantasy 4, which has been redone so many times. It's insane. 12 not. Don't even start with 12. It's good, but way too long. And then they remade it with to have better graphics. The what was it called? The Zodiac Age or whatever it's called. Same game, but just better graphics and longer. But 12 is just great. It's great, but it's long. Way too long. You thought 15 was long. 13 is not that long. It's just, they should have never made 13, 2, and 3. It just made no sense. It's like X2. Made no sense. And that one stunk. I think that's probably one of the worst games in Final Fantasy history is X2 and pretty much most of 13, 2, and 3. 13 is alright, but... Yeah. Alright, so blah, 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 blah. They fight, and, Leo Rush is going crazy. But in the end, Champa gets the win after Project Champa gets a near fall. Then he running meet in the middle knee, finishes off Leo Rush in 11 minutes. Match was crazy. I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that's pretty much it. Alright, then we get a video for Kenny Omega and Swerve tonight on Dynamite. And Hangman. I don't know why we got that, but Hangman and MJF from Revolution again, so we got that. We move on. Then we got the AEW Trios titles on the line. Mystic Speed, Mystico, and Jet Speed, Speedball Mike Bailey, and the Jet, Kevin Knight. They take on the Don Callis family of Takeshita, Josh Alexander, and Dark Hologram, El Clone, and a regular Hologram just got surgery on his leg. I don't know when he's coming back, but we get that. This was a great match to end the show. 13-minute match. We're getting in the end, and Mystico hits a big flippy-dippity-doo to the floor. Kevin Knight tries for the UFO splash. Missed. No water in the pool for you, sir. And then El Clone step up moonsault gets a near fall. Kevin Knight manages a springboard clothesline to catch the, and that leaves Mystico to grab Mystica on Dark Hologram and tap out. El Clone tapped out in a little over 13 minutes. Match was great. 3.25 out of 5 stars. And that's it. And then Tony Schiavone runs down the upcoming cards for Dynamite. I think next week for Collision. And then he's like running it down like Excalibur without taking a breath. Oh, that ain't gonna work, dude. You're 60-something years old. You're not Excalibur. Don't even try that. And that's it. And that's it for Night 2 of Collision. And Night 2, I gave 6.5 out of 10 stars. So, overall, pretty good shows for AEW. Dynamite was great. I gave Dynamite 7.5 out of 10 stars. Night 1 of Collision, 6.25 out of 10 stars. Night 2, 6.5. And there you go. I'm out of breath, and that's pretty much it. Alright, guys, thanks for watching the video. We got baseball coming up in about 15 minutes. Yankees and the Giants to open up the 2026 season. I will talk about that later tonight. I'm going to do not going to do a post show, but I'm going to do my 2026 preview after the game, probably around 12 o'clock maybe. Talk about the game, talk about the Yankees' upcoming season, the Mets season, which starts tomorrow, and the rest of baseball. We'll talk about that later. Tomorrow, we'll talk about Dynamite. Get you ready for TNA Ring of Honor tomorrow night, and anything else comes your way Thursday. We'll talk about that. And then Friday, I'm going to be pretty much out all day. I'll be home late, and then we'll talk about SmackDown and TNA Ring of Honor probably tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night, sorry. Friday night or Saturday, and then get you ready for Collision on Saturday night. And then maybe we're going to take a day off. I mean, we need a day off. I need a couple of days off from doing videos because I've been pretty much non-stop. Full-timers, baby! We move on. And that's that. So, that's that. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. Get ready for some baseball. Go Giants, fuck the Yankees. And we got Dynamite coming up, so pick and choose whatever you want to watch tonight. Want to watch the Yankees on Netflix tonight, or you want to watch Dynamite on that great station of TBS, you can do that. And then don't forget tomorrow, you Met fans, Channel 4, NBC, at 1:15, Mets home opener at home at Citi Field against the Pirates. And Freddie Peralta against Paul Skinnis. That should be interesting. See if the Mets can actually get some hits off that guy. Oh, Mets are usually good on opening day, not the last couple of years. So hopefully they get back to their winning ways on opening day. Get that first win of the season, and then we'll see what happens on the weekend with David Peterson and Nolan McLean pitching on Sunday. That's gonna be fun, and we'll see what happens with the Mets and the Yankees this season. I think they're gonna have great seasons. Hopefully for the Mets. The Yankees, I care less, but we'll see what happens with that. All right, guys, I'm gonna get ready for Dynamite. In between, maybe look at my MLB app for the Yankee game, and then I have my sensible dinner. Have Rosa yell at me, yeah, the Yankees, shut up. You know, she's a half Met, half Yankee fan. I don't understand that. You can't be both. Either be a Yankee fan and get the Mets' wrath, and then, or you be a Met fan and suffer like me, but we will. Alright, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back later with video number 3, your baseball preview for the Mets and the Yankees and every other team that's on TSL 107. So that's later tonight with that. Alright, guys, until next time, peace.